Once more there was a knocking sound on the study door, but there was no answer. He seemed to be sleeping still, and I could not wake him. If she went back downstairs and said something like that, Ava would probably be amused and triumphant. And even putting Ava aside, it was problematic that Kinzo had stayed shut away during this entire once-a-year conference, not even coming down to greet anyone. Even the family head, no, especially the family head, couldn't fail to make an appearance. I wonder if I can convince him myself. Natsuki readied herself and used the key that she'd borrowed from Genji to open the door. And... even though she was prepared for the sweet stench, which seemed to eat into one's brain as it poured out the small crack in the door, she couldn't help but grimace. Thinking that he might still be sleeping, Natsuki entered the room quietly. Oh. Okay, so he's still around. So who does that leave? So we still got Shannon. We haven't seen Shannon yet. So she must be the sixth one. So we got Rudolph and Kyrie, Kraus, Rosa, Goda, and Shannon. Those are our 6 that so far we haven't seen, that have gone missing. The 6 taken on the first twilight as sacrifices. Okay. When she did, Kinzo was already awake and looking down out of the window. So you're awake. Good morning.
How did you get in?
Kinzo spoke with his back still facing her. His voice was not harsh, but calm, and Natsuki was slightly reassured. However, though he was awake, he wouldn't have ignored all that knocking if he was in a good mood. Natsuki wasn't able to relax. My sincere apologies. I asked Genji-san, and he allowed me to borrow the key to the study.
Genji did. My friend thought it was that important that I have no choice but to listen. So, what business do you have with me?
Well, breakfast will be ready soon, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would join us.
I will eat here. I have it brought here like always.
But father, this family conference happens only once a year. Please at least let them see your face.
Go back downstairs. Are you asking me to join in as they discuss how to chew up my inheritance after I die? How foolish. Let them speak of such matters as much as they please without me. And if that's what you call a family conference, it's hardly worth leaving my room for it. I am busy. Do not bother me.
His last words carried the threat that any further questions would not be appreciated. Natsuki realized that adding any further pleas would finally bring his wrath down upon her. She didn't look forward to facing Ava's sarcasm, but there was nothing more Natsuki could do. Is that so? Understood. I'm sure everyone will be sorry to hear it, but I will tell them. Natsuki decided to give up. Bowing silently, she tried to leave the room before Kinzo's spasmodic temper could flare up. As she did, Kinzo spoke to her. His voice was so calm and gentle, it felt like it came from an entirely different person.
Natsuki, it has been quite some time since you married into the Ushiromiya family.
Yes. It has been many years since I was first permitted to bear the name Ushiromiya.
Do you sometimes long for your previous family?
No. Marriage means abandoning your birth family. I am Ushiromiya Natsuki. The Ushiromiya family is the only family I can come home to. The only one I am fond of. She truly wasn't exaggerating. Such was the resolve she felt whenever she applied the Ushiromiya family name to herself. And that's precisely why she was so saddened when her husband didn't treat her like an Ushiromiya, leaving her to race about in vain. If Kraus were a woman, and you...
Oh, if Kraus were a woman, and you his husband. No, I won't say that.
What do you mean by that, father? Natsuki was shocked. If Kinzo's words just now were what they seemed, it would have been more than enough to make up for all she'd suffered up to that point.
Forget it. It's just the nonsense of an old man.
Kinzo once again faced away from her. He told her to forget it, but Natsuki couldn't help but feeling a warmth in her heart. Father, even though I, Natsuki, am not connected to you by blood, I am still your daughter. I will most assuredly see to it that your honor and glory and everything you have left behind are protected.
You do not have the right to wear the one-winged eagle. However, the one-winged eagle is surely engraved in your heart. That is irrefutable proof that you are my blood relative, one who will inherit the glory of the Ushiromiya family. Some will sneer that there is no eagle on your clothes, but such words are not worth lending an ear to. Only those who hold the eagle in their hearts are my true blood relatives. I now consider it an honor that you were welcomed into the Ushiromiya family.
Damn. Okay. Without saying anything more, Kinzo remained with his back to Natsu. However, Natsu couldn't help but feel something warm up inside her that she hadn't felt since long ago, when she'd been just a child. Natsu bowed slightly to his back and left the room. Hell yeah. Love to see Natsu winning. Good timing. How is father? You were taking so long, I came to check. When Natsu left the study, she saw Ava climb the stairs and their eyes met. Ava was smirking unpleasantly, thinking that Natsu would leave grudgingly after failing to convince Kinzo. However, the way Natsu was now, such a frivolous laugh would not disturb her. She was not permitted to wear the family crest on her clothing, but she was permitted to wear it in her heart. So she spoke calmly, clearly, and confidently, with the dignity of the one who would protect the Ushiromiya family's glory. Father said he would not join in on the family conference. He says he has no interest in discussing such obscene matters. I figured you'd say something like that. If you fail to persuade Father, just say so. How pitiful. I am beginning to see why Father lamented so. What do you mean by that? Natsu did not answer. Hell yeah! Let him know, Natsu! Just as Kinzo done earlier, she showed Ava her back as she headed down the stairs. Yeah! Ava finally realized that she was being made fun of. That something had happened to quickly bolster Natsu's confidence. Even so, she apparently didn't have the courage to risk Kinzo's wrath. Unable to even knock on the door, she could only click her tongue and make a motion as though scratching at it and follow after Natsu. So were Nissan and the rest there? Did you ask your father about them? I didn't get the chance to ask, but they were not inside the study. Father would never let them into his room to discuss such a lowly topic, so it is unlikely he knows where they went. Let us go downstairs and wait for the servants to return from their search. Breakfast may be late, but how would you like some tea, Ava-san? That would be fine. Ava couldn't hide her confusion at the complete difference in Natsu's attitude. I love it. I love to see Natsu winning. Hell yeah. She was acting so boldly, and while Ava hated to admit it, she even had a sense of dignity about her. Unable to find fault with anything, Ava could only follow Natsu back to the parlor. Yeah! Yeah! You love to see it. I fucking love to see it. I'm over the moon right now. This is great. Like, yeah, it sucks that, like, 6 people went missing, but just, bruh. Natsu winning? Love to see it. When the two of them returned to the parlor, Hideyoshi had been joined by the 4 children and Nanjo. I keep forgetting Nanjo's also here. Whenever I, like, try to count people up, I'm like, oh yeah, fucking Nanjo. Genji, who had been talking with Hideyoshi, reported the current situation when he noticed that Natsu had entered. You still have not found my husband and the rest?
Yes, my apologies. Also, Kumasawa has started preparing breakfast.
Kumasawa, I forgot about her. But yeah, now that he's found Kumasawa, that means Shannon was definitely the 6th person.
She said that she will need just a little longer.
The clock read a little past 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock should have been the time to start breakfast. Normally going over that time limit would be a disgrace to the host.
Kanon is now searching outside. Also, no one has seen Shannon either.
Even Shannon's missing? Truly, just how many people did my husband bring with him on his little walk? Just how many people had gone missing by now? Now that the number was this large, it was starting to feel truly unpleasant, as though the people here were the only ones being left out of something interesting. At least, that seemed to reflect the feelings of the children, and Maria in particular. She was indignant, her stomach grumbling, almost as though her mother and the others had left her alone to go off and eat something delicious without her. The other children were flipping through the channels on the television, trying to find a program that might interest Maria and cheer her up again. Nanjo was sitting on the sofa, gazing blissfully at the children while reading a book. It must have been a book about chess. The sound of footsteps came rushing towards them with a pitter-patter. There was only one set, so they realized before seeing who it belonged to that it was Kanon, not Kraus and the rest. Madam, excuse me. Judging by your appearance, you still haven't been able to find them. My apologies. I still haven't. That'll be enough. You've worked hard. She didn't know where they were, but they had to be somewhere on this island. They hadn't had a thing to eat since the previous night, so their stomachs must be growling about now. They'd probably come plodding back of their own accord before long. By now, Natsu was thoroughly exasperated and started to feel that there was no reason for them to go out of their way in search. I will go to the kitchen to prepare some tea for all of the guests. Thanks to both of you for all your hard work so early in the morning. Natsu left the parlor, acting as though the release in tension had caused a new surge in her headache. Kanon tried to call her to her back, but Natsu left swiftly.
What is it? Was there something else?
Yes. I was unable to find her husband or anyone else, but, well. Kanon sounded evasive. It looked as though he didn't know where they were, but had spotted something that might be connected to their disappearance. Eva and Hideyoshi noticed this exchange of words and came over. They'd probably picked up on something strange in Kanon's behavior.
What's going on, Kanon-kun? Did you find Kraus, Nissan, and everyone else?
Actually, the Rose Garden storehouse looked strange.
What do you mean? It looked strange.
It was, how should I explain it? Kanon hesitated once more. His tone wasn't at all what you'd expect from this usually fearless boy. Seeing this, Eva and Hideyoshi looked at each other dubiously. What do you mean? Are you saying Nissan and the others were inside the storehouse? No, I'm going to inspect the inside now. I just now came back to get the key, but,
I don't really get it, but it sounds like we've just got to look around inside it. Where's the key to that storehouse?
It is in the servant room. Let us check inside the storehouse at once. Kanon dashed off to the servant room and returned with the key. Genji left the parlor, saying that he would go check, but then Eva and Hideyoshi followed after him. What was this something strange about the storehouse that had caused the usually fearless Kanon to hesitate? It's probably covered in blood and shit, isn't it? It was still pouring outside, but perhaps their curiosity over this something that Kanon couldn't talk about won out. While the children made a big fuss watching television, Kanon and the rest dashed over to the entrance. Yeah, let's see it. The Rose Garden storehouse was a place that housed various tools used to manage the garden. It was definitely not a pretty building. Because of its appearance, it had been built so that it was hidden in a corner of the Rose Garden. Kanon, Genji, Eva, and Hideyoshi came cutting across the Rose Garden holding umbrellas. They entered a small path just off the Rose Garden, which is normally off limits for those appreciating the garden and only used by those maintaining it. As they dashed down that, the storehouse came into view in front of them. It was quite an old shed, and compared to the flawlessly perfect beauty of the Rose Garden, it was pretty seedy looking. It was easy to understand why it had been built in a hard-to-see place. Eva and Hideyoshi arrived at the storehouse long after Kanon and Genji.
You two sure are fast. I thought my heart was gonna explode.
I never knew they had the storehouse way over here. But, what is that? When Eva looked where Kanon was pointing, she was at a loss for words. Noticing this, Hideyoshi also followed Kanon's finger, and was likewise too shocked to speak. The entrance to the storehouse was a kind of shutter. And there, everyone suddenly realized why Kanon had been unable to find words to describe what they now saw. On the shutter, which was completely filthy from being exposed in the rain for so long, stuck right on it. Oh. There was something that looked like a strange dark red liquid? Mucus? Mucus? Bro, if your mucus is dark red, go see a doctor. What the fuck? There's a dark red liquid. Is it mucus? Like, damn. That's your first thought, huh? Bro, you need some medical attention now. You need to call Nanjo immediately. Or maybe it was some sticky red paint. Why would that not be your first thought? Dark red substance on the wall. Mucus? Like, shit, I'm gonna think blood before I think mucus. Who the fuck got red mucus? An indescribably eerie shape was drawn on the shutter with some kind of ghastly substance. The rain had caused it to drip down like fresh blood leaking from an open wound. No more beating around the bush. Some kind of mark was drawn there, with a ghastly substance that looked like blood, in a shape that seemed to suggest something ominous. 2 circles were drawn there, and inside them was a design that looked like a cross. The 4 ends of the cross were widely exaggerated, and looked like some kind of crest from somewhere around Europe. And in the cracks between these shapes, written closely packed together, were some unfamiliar characters, or possibly symbols.
What a vulgar bit of graffiti. Could this be one of those? One of those magic circles used in demonic ceremonies?
It wasn't surprising that Hideyoshi would say that about such a ghastly shape, drawn with a deep red dripping substance. When was this made? There was nothing drawn here when I came by yesterday before it started raining.
We must do something before anyone else sees this. If they laid eyes upon it, it would cause them great discomfort.
That's right. Even though it's just a shed, I wouldn't want to leave such an unpleasant piece of graffiti alone for even a second longer than I had to.
There is some paint left inside the storehouse. Let us paint over it temporarily as an emergency measure, then repaint it again someday when the weather is good.
Genji remembered that he had just recently seen another scribble, and that it too had been made with a strange dark red substance of the same color as this. Oh right, the claw marks outside of Nazi. Is that supposed to like indicate that Nazi's next? That must have been. That's right. He had seen it on the door to Nazi's room. Okay, one sec. I gotta check the prophecy. What's on the second toilet? Those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. Well, Ava and Hideyoshi would be the only couple that's left. Okay. So tonight, something's gonna happen between Ava and Hideyoshi. That's my theory. Well, that's just a theory. Anyway. Come on, kid. Let's remove this scribble quickly and go back, okay? Even though it's just a storehouse, it's really irritating to have graffiti around the home I was brought up in. Yes, ma'am. I'll take care of it immediately. Kanon squatted in front of the shutter and unlocked it. He then lifted it up with all of his strength. What's inside? What's inside? A boisterous noise resounded. An eerie shape drawn in the shutter began to get sucked in through the top as the shutter was raised. At least for the time being, the ominous drawing disappeared from the direct gaze, and they all breathed a sigh of relief. Until... yeah, of course, they cut away as they opened the shed, goddammit. Thanks to a kids program they came across, Maria was feeling much better. Battler and Jessica were poking fun at the kids show at every turn, cackling together. George was enjoying the program with Maria from her perspective. Nanjo sat on the sofa by himself, passing the time by, reading quietly. They heard hurried footsteps coming from the hallway. They were the footsteps of a single person. Did that mean it wasn't the group of four that had just left? It was Genji. It was very rare for Genji, consider being out of breath a violation of a servant's virtues, to be gasping for air. He had probably come dashing back from outside the mansion. His shoulders were soaking wet, and he didn't have his usual trimmed appearance. When Genji noticed Nanjo looking at him, he gave a small silent bow and quickly approached him. Dr. Nanjo, my apologies. Please, come with me quickly. What is the matter? As Genji whispered something into Nanjo's ear, Nanjo went pale. He rose from the sofa, trying not to be noticed by the children, who were still engrossed by the TV. And the two of them rapidly left the parlor, muffling their footsteps. Just as they were about to exit the parlor, they came across Natsu, who was pushing a serving cart loaded with a tea set. Genji whispered something into Natsu's ear, and Natsu went pale too in apparent shock. Then, leaving the serving cart where it was, the three of them dashed towards the entrance. George noticed them running down the rose garden through the window. What's that? Isn't that Genji-san and Dr. Nanjo and that's Aunt Natsu, isn't it? What's up, Aniki? Maybe something happened. They looked terribly flustered. When Jessica and Maria saw that Ava, Hideyoshi, and Nanjo were no longer in their seats, and that the serving cart had been abandoned in the entrance to the parlor, they also realized that something was the matter. Could there have been some kind of accident? Let's go check it out. It's no fun if we're the only ones left out, right? Oh, poor Maria. For some reason, what Battler said sounded extremely indiscreet. But they couldn't deny that they were a little insecure and concerned after seeing the adults run off into the rain without regards to their appearance. Let's check it out, okay? I'm worried something might have happened. Jessica's uneasy words spoke for all of them. Hey Maria, you coming too? Or will you watch TV?
Wanna watch TV?
Let's go on without her. Maria-chan will be back soon. You keep watching TV, okay? Thank God. Last thing I want is Maria to see that shit. By the time the kids made it outside, the adults were no longer in sight. But Jessica seemed to have a pretty good idea of where they'd gone, judging by the direction they'd been running. Following Jessica, we ran through a rain-soaked rose garden. The wind seemed to suddenly get stronger. The malicious sound of thunder began to rumble like it had the previous night. It felt like an eerie something had surrounded the island and was trying to stop us from moving forward. Jessica, is there something over this way? I'm pretty sure there's a shed for guarding tools or something. And bodies. What in the world could be going on in a place like that? Murder. Just as Jessica had said, they began to see a storehouse in front of them. They could also see the adults there. The shutter to the storehouse was open, and several adults looked as though they were searching for something. For some reason, only Natsu was outside the storehouse. Without even holding an umbrella, she looked like she was hanging her head, and her back was facing them. There was Genji, Nanjo, and Natsu, who had just left the mansion. The ones who'd left earlier, Kanan, Eva, and Hideyoshi, were also there, making for a small crowd of people. But there was absolutely no bustle of activity. When Natsu realized that the children were approaching, a terrible expression rose to her face, and she ran at them with her eyes spread wide. You mustn't come any closer. Go back to the mansion. Despite that, no, because of that, the kids saw the scene Natsu was trying to keep them away from. Inside the storehouse, with its shutter wide open, a faint fluorescent light shone down. And right there was Jessica's piercing shriek rang out. I didn't know it was screaming, so I didn't attempt it. But that was just because Jessica's scream was the loudest. Ah, that'd be why. The same thing spelled out of Battler and George's mouths as well. Damn, this music. Okay, okay. Ava spread her arms just like Natsu, roaring at the kids with a bone-chilling expression on her face. George, take everyone and return to the mansion. Quickly. Right now. When Natsu spread her arms, I thought she was trying to prevent us from advancing any further. But that wasn't why Ava was spreading her arms right now. She was trying to stop us kids from seeing that terrible scene. It was her mother's heart, trying to protect the eyes and the hearts of the children by blocking our view of that terrible scene by at least the width of one of her arms. Is this some kind of joke? Is it? I've seen this kind of cheap scene all too often. In manga, TV, anime, and movies, I'd seen it over and over again. This was just seeing something appear in real life I'd seen plenty of times before in some of those more sensational movies, right? Oh wow, this music. That alone shouldn't... But that suit... They're bastards, isn't it? I get it. And that's Uncle Kraus. And Kyrie's son. Aunt Rosa. Ugh! Dad! Dad! You mustn't, Jessica. You mustn't go in. You mustn't look. Dad! Dad! Ah!
Rigor mortis is setting across almost the entire body. Most likely, 6 hours or more have passed since death. As far as I can tell by looking at the damaged area, there is a high probability that they were damaged after their deaths. No, you must watch what I say. I'm a general practitioner. I don't have any corpses outside my area of expertise.
So what's going on here? Just killing them wasn't enough, so they went on to do something like this? The devil! This here's the work of the devil!
Or a witch. Oh my god. As terrifying as a moment as this is, this music is fucking bumping. Bruh. How am I supposed to be shocked and horrified right now when this music fucking slaps? Oh, I'm feeling it. Oh, stop bumping. Oh no, it's just that slow build up. Wait for it. I'm waiting for it. I know it's coming back, just wait. Okay, alright. Yeah. Oh yeah, the drum's starting to come back. Yeah. Oh my god. Bro, what the fuck? Why does this music slap so hard? Alright, let's just... And Natsu caught Jessica in her arms, not Ava caught George Aniki. So I was the only one who could approach the entrance to the storehouse. If only there had been someone there to catch me too. wouldn't have needed to have this horrible, evil scene burned into my eyes. Oh god, how graphic is it gonna get? No, that's not it. Isn't that there's no one here to catch me? The people who should catch me. They're right here, aren't they? Just as Jessica said, it would look like a storehouse for gardening tools. And corpses. A lawnmower with extra blades. A grass sickle and a hammer. Some carpentry tools such as a saw. Piled up rotted plants and bags of fertilizer. And treated just the same. The corpses of several people had been laid to rest there. No, been tossed in there. I could tell them by their clothes. That old bastard and Kairi-san. Uncle Kraus and Aunt Rosa. Beyond that, Goda-san. There's still more of them? How many people died? You're fucking kidding me. That's more than I can count on one hand. Damn it! I didn't know whether it had been one of these gardening tools, which if used for something other than their intended purpose could definitely be wielded with a naked brutality. Or whether some horrible tool that had been brought in here specifically for this. Anyway, each one of the bodies jammed in here had been given an atrocious makeup. It wasn't makeup. It was more like their faces had been plowed. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, I can't be horrified by this new information because I'm vibing too hard with this music. Bruh. Slaps too hard. Their faces were smashed, forced into expressions that normal people couldn't even make after death. I couldn't tell where the eyes or the noses were. I could find their mouths, because they were gaping wide, their gums exposed. Christ! Their front teeth were missing. Even the cheeks that should have covered all this were torn up and laid bare. Fuck! The trendy makeup you always spent so much time on, even though you're a man, isn't doing a thing now. Dad! I always thought you were going to hell. Still, not like this, right? You weren't such a son of a bitch that you should have to suffer so brutally. And Kairi-san, didn't I tell you to stop going out with this guy? There's absolutely no reason for you to end up like this, too. They've got no faces. No faces. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! Ah!
Mother-son, you mustn't look anymore. There's no way your mother and father would want you to see them like this. For their sakes, you mustn't look anymore.
Dead people are supposed to have faces that look like they're sleeping peacefully, right? They've got no faces. My dad and Kairi-san have no faces. I don't even know what kind of faces they were wearing when they died. What's wrong with me? Will I have to see these smashed monster-like faces every time I remember them? That's just great. I don't want to remember that old bastard smoke face anyway. Just great. Just great. But why even Kairi-san's face? Kairi-san wasn't a crook. Sure, she ticked me off a bit now and then. She was like a cool big sister to me. This is wrong. This is all wrong. At least Uncle Kraus has it better, doesn't he? So his whole face, just the side. At least he's got half his face left, right? That's still better. That's still better. No!
Damn. I yelled so hard I disappeared. Nice. Oh no, that was Jessica. Okay. Well, maybe Jessica yelled so hard she sounded like Battler. Whatever. Jessica filled her ears with the sound of her own screaming, trying to shut out my reckless words. Stop it, Battler-kun. Just stop it. Just stop it. Aniki! Aniki! Ah! Disregarding age and appearance, I fell to my knee, clinging to Aniki's waist, sobbing. It was as if I was crying on behalf of everyone there. Representing the feelings of everyone there, I screamed over and over. Fuck. No, my music! No, go back to the horrific murder scene. I want my music back.